Hello and welcome to our Retire Early lifestyle. Thanks for being here today. In this video, we're going to update you on some of the travel trends that are happening in Europe and beyond. Our first story is about Brits finally boycotting Europe, and guess where they're going? The Philippines. As Brits turn their backs on Spain, the Philippines emerges as the go-to holiday hotspot. British tourists are swapping Majorca for the Philippines as rising costs and over-tourism push them toward affordable, unspoiled tropical escapes. The Philippines gets a lot of tourists too, but the Philippines love Americans and Brits. Filipinos aren't protesting in the streets, yelling at tourists to go home, and I doubt they will ever do that. It's bad for business. When tourists are too scared to come out of their hotel rooms, then it's definitely time to move on. Majorca's decline signals a shift in travel habits. Once the jewel of the Mediterranean tourism, Majorca is losing its British audience. In early 2025, tourism figures show a 7.7% year-on-year drop in UK arrivals, with January alone seeing a near 30% fall. And yes, using squirt guns on tourists in a serious way is belittling them, and they're fed up and just going elsewhere. But here is the thing. Spain is now wooing Americans to Spain to take the place of the Brits because they don't want to lose the tourist money. That is to say, they don't want to lose all of the tourist money. They just want sustainable tourism. That's something that the Retire Abroad media and gang is not capable of doing. At least that's what relevant history has shown us. You know what I mean? Americans are Spain's new baby. The mainstream news reports that Americans are moving to Spain in droves. Nothing new to see here. Been there and done that with the Brits. It makes sense to see the Brits going to the Philippines, where they will find cost of living about half of what they'll pay in a touristy coastal area of Spain. At least for now. Americans will be charged gringo tax on airline flights to Spain, hotel stays, dining out, and at certain tourist attractions. And if they're there during a protest, they'll also get to feel what it's like to not be wanted by thousands of locals squirting water on them and telling them to leave. And then they'll quit moving there too. Moving on to our next story, U.S. Embassy issues travel warning to Mexico amid rising in kidnappings of Americans using a dating app. American tourists warn of increased threat in summer vacation hotspot involving dating apps in Puerto Vallarta. Sound familiar? Yes, this was happening in Medellin, Colombia from 2022 to today. Numerous young tourists have been kidnapped, drugged, and robbed of their valuables and murdered in Colombia through using a dating app to find a local woman. Now it's happening in the little darling Puerto Vallarta. That's scary stuff, everyone. They figured out it's an easy way to get young men lured into a hotel room and drug and rob them. This is the warning from the U.S. Embassy in Guadalajara, dated June 5th. 2025. The U.S. Consulate General in Guadalajara has issued a warning to Americans about the risks of using dating apps in Mexico. According to the advisory, some American tourists were abducted after meeting individuals through these platforms. The incidents took place in Puerto Vallarta in Jalisco and Nuevo Nayarit, both popular beach destinations. Notably, travelers have been urged to stay cautious when meeting new people and to avoid private spaces such as homes or hotel rooms. Frank and I were just in Puerto Vallarta a few years ago over the summer, and we definitely observed many weird vibes going on in the city, such as the people seemed to be in fear of getting sick and dying, and this is young people. They had huge virus sculptures on the boardwalk, as well as a whole group of demon and alien figures, and we even made a video about that.
And what are these things? Guys, tell me what these things are. They look like demons to me. Some kind of demon. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. You know something about this? Look at this. What are they climbing? They're climbing a ladder. What are they trying to do? Is this like the Tower of Babel? Is it Babel or Babel? This dude looks weird. Who has a triangle head? I mean, it looks like a demon to me. You know, humans don't have triangle heads. What does that mean?
That's aliens back there. They're trying to bring UFOs to Puerto Vallarta.
And take a look at this. Like, what is this? What is that? What about that one over there? They don't look human. Huh.
The city is drying up, and there are Americans buying million-dollar homes on the sewage-filled beaches, and no one seems to care or want to talk about it. Puerto Vallarta regularly drains their sewage-filled rivers into the coastal waters, right near where people sunbathe and children play and swim. 14 crowded beaches across Mexico have exhibited unsafe levels of the bacteria Enterococcus, and one of those beaches is located in the popular tourist destination of Puerto Vallarta. We hate to bring you these stinky reports, but someone has to do it, don't you think? Or do you only want the good news? Americans should boycott Mexico until they clean up their drinking water throughout the country and quit draining sewage into the oceans. Unfortunately, people just sweep this stuff under the rug as if it isn't happening. Moving on to our next story, India. Okay, this is for you, female solo travelers. We thought we'd put this out there. You can follow the advice or not, but here it is from the U.S. Embassy. U.S. issues latest India travel advisory with warnings about solo women travelers, conflict, and crime. This is dated June 22nd, 2025. The advisory retained language stating that rape is one of the fastest growing crimes in India and warned that women are particularly vulnerable, especially at tourist destinations. And it is urging women not to travel alone. It's interesting that they stated that India's rape culture is one of the fastest growing crimes, and that's probably because nothing happens to the rapist and they just keep doing it. American women are huge targets for sexual assaults in the South Asian countries such as Iran and Bangladesh and India. We know feminists don't want to be told they can't do something, but this is not a mandate or a law. It is a warning. Anyone with a sensible head on their shoulder would consider this advisory and take it seriously. Moving on to our next story. Are you traveling to the USA? You might want to know this. From time to time, we get comments from people, usually in Europe, that can't believe that the USA's crime is dropping like it is. And so, for our last story, we're going to provide you with all of the details so you won't have to be a doubting Thomas. As the ancient story goes, Thomas did not believe that Jesus raised from the dead, and he had to actually touch Jesus to make sure his image was real. And it was, and Thomas got the shock of his life. The story of decreasing crime in America may not be that shocking for some people, but as we like to say on this channel, policies, demographics, and crime culture never stay consistent. They change with the politics of the time and what is going on. The crime report comes directly from the Federal Bureau of Investigations. New FBI stats show historic declines in violent crime rates. Someone asked for the hard stats, and so here they are. By the way, since we're still in 2025, we are unable to get the full report for this year, but the FBI does report that the trend is still decreasing in the first quarter of 2025, and they think the trend will continue into the end of the year of 2025. Here's the crime stats since the year 2014 to 2024. According to the FBI, crime rates are the lowest since 1961. Here they are, and here's the chart. U.S. crime rates continue to fall, and preliminary data indicate that the 2024 crime rate was the lowest since 1961. According to the FBI statistics, murders decreased by 26.4%. Rapes were down by 25.7%. Robbery decreased by 17.8%. Aggravated assault was down by 12.5%, and property crimes was lower by 15% in the first quarter of 2024. And here is the real-time crime index showing crime did increase post-2020 in the U.S., but gradually it has come back down to a new low level in 2025, and it is still dropping. Now we can also get an idea about crime by looking at some crime comparisons. Here is the U.S. compared to France. In our previous video, we said crime is decreasing in the U.S. and crime was increasing in Europe. This is true. But we never said there was less crime in the USA than Europe. However, the USA does have less crime than France, Belgium, and Belarus, and actually, upon further investigation, we find that the USA is safer than the UK on many crime levels, such as muggings, attacks, and assaults on the street. Take a look. So after looking at these charts, does this look anecdotal to you? The source comes straight from the FBI. We're just the messengers. So we can clearly see by looking at these charts that crime is down in the United States, and 2025 is not looking too bad either, with the same decreases in violent crimes. So that's it, folks. We hope you enjoyed this travel update. Until next video, have a great day, and bye-bye.